Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to another Supreme Commander epic. It is custom 6v6 business for your viewing pleasure, featuring an eclectic mix of Joes and pros going down on this generated map. And the best news is there's no news, so we can get straight to the action. Incidentally, I say that. He says that and then has some news. It's not really news. I've had a little bit of a redesign of my office. Not that you can perceive that visually through what you're seeing on the monitor, but you might be able to tell in acoustics, mics in a different place and all the rest of it. And as much as I've done my own tests and everything, there's nothing quite like direct feedback from you people who are all watching it on different devices and the screen. So do let me know in the comments if everything's coming through okay. We shall call this Team 1 up here at the top, and this shall be Team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for Team 1, right in the top left-hand corner. In regal purple, we have Zokiaz going Cybrin, bless him, opening first air. Team member number 2 on the front line just over here, we have Open 2, another Cybrin, this time in Dijon yellow. He's going first land. Team member number 3 for Team 1 to the right in baby pink, we have an Aeon. It's Slick. He's gone first land. Team member number 4 in the middle section of the map in burgundy red, our first UEF of the day. It is Smithers, and he's going first land, second air. Team member number 5 in Hallie orange to his right, it's another Aeon, and it's Azuros. He's going first land, second air. And last but not least, in lurid green, right the way over here, we have Legend Law 2, our first Seraphim of the day. He's going first land. So Team 1 comprised of 2 Cybrin, a UEF, 2 Aeon, and a Seraphim. Let's check out Team 2 now, starting with a mellow yellow job down in the bottom right-hand corner. It's another Cybrin, and it's the winner of this week's Amusing Name Award. It's Schlongdis. There he is. He's gone first air. On the front lines in front of him in lime green, having already left his base, it's Muffin Man. 840 will happen to the other 839. That's what I want to know. Anyway, he is opening first land. To his left in fecal brown, bless him, going Cybrin, how very appropriate, it's Chancellor. And Chancellor is going first land, second air. In the centre for Team 2 in combat green, also having left his starting section, probably just to scoop some of those mass rocks over there ahead of him in Seraphim going first land. It is Snoog. There he is, Snoog. And then team member number 5 in Spetsnaz green to his left, we have Furior. He is going Aeon, opening first land, second air. We're assuming, just purely because of the location, if he started there. I imagine that was the first factory. And last but not least, in Elephantine Grey, in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Dead Six, another Cybrin. He has gone first and second land, going third air. So, racial makeup of Team 2 looks to be 3 Cybrin, 1, 2 Aeon, and a Seraphim. So, there we have it. Game quality today is 93%. That is more or less a balanced game as far as we can discern it. Lowest rated players today, we've got 2 very low order Joes, Muffin Man 840 on Team 2 and Open 2 on Team 1. They are both down at 800, so stepping into the deep end here when you consider the top rated players are players like Furior and Snoog on 1900 for Team 2 and a whopping 2100 for Azuros. Everybody else is somewhere in between. So a nice eclectic mix of Joes and pros, as we said. It's a generated map today. That's the mass poop situation. Some decent piles around the rocks and the cliff edges in the center. And then we also have some voids here. No water today, but we'll manage without it. And we'll have to start talking about some of the action that's already going down, because goodness me, we're 4 minutes in and stuff is going on. We've got lots of drops kicking off onto these little plateaus. We've got these little piles of mass poop on the plateaus that these engineers are going after. So we've got drops from both teams wrestling over those reserves, those resources. We've got some early T1 bomber harass trying to counter some of those engineers and the like. I did also hear a little bit of lab play, some what sounded like mech marines shooting off in the distance, but that has probably been taken out already, so we won't go hunting for that. I like this little scoop here. In came, is it Furior? Yeah, Furior with a chariot went to airlift his engineers off to keep them safe for a moment, only for another bombing run to come and take them out, but it's the thought that counts. Ah, look at this, some early ghetto gunship business out from Smithers. I love it. Couple of mech marines on a courier there being utilized to great effect to deal with some of Team 2's evil presence on that left plateau there. Team 1 saying, no, I want that plateau. And I guess if you can manage to conquer both of these, it would give you quite a commanding presence in the center of the map. You can imagine shoving down artillery pieces on a shielded base on some of these sections over here. It could probably give you a little bit of a strategic boost and commander control in the center of the map. Why not? That's what I think. Team 2 upgrade on the way for Open 2 over on the left-hand side. 80% done there, proceeding with great gusto. Let's look at the early mass totals so far in terms of generated eco. Team 2 comfortably ahead, 243 to 192. Readings fluctuate all the time, of course, but it seems to be in that sort of area. And in terms of mass accrued, total mass accrued, it's a 3k deficit favoring Team 2. Reclaim wise, Team 1 are ahead on the reclaim, and they're 4k up. So the fact that they're down 3k overall when they're 4k up on reclaim really shows how much better the opening start has been for Team 2 on the infrastructure front, on getting set up with their eco. And it also probably means they've got a little extra reclaim to call on as the game goes forward. So nice start there for Team 2. Still lots of early air battles kicking off as interceptors try and shoot down transports and the like, and they try and prevent their opposing teams from grabbing footholds in key places. Where is the... So if we take a look at, for instance, one random player on Team 1, that field of view gives you an idea of just how far Team 1 have reached. They've got a read on an enemy comm here, which is Chancellor, who's moved up into this sort of void, this basin area over here. But otherwise, that is pretty much the state of the front line at the present time. But they've got this pretty much just all sewn up on this right-hand plateau here. And as you can see, already in play with land factories, anti-air turrets, radar, which is what was giving us the signal on Chancellor's comm just over here a moment ago. Over on the left-hand side, though, Furrier did not give up on making a play for that other plateau and has re-established a couple of land factories there. However, there is an opposing Cybran land factory belonging to Zokiaz slightly further to the north, but it's 2 factories versus 1, so I would expect Team 2 to carry the day on this left-hand plateau. So we had a T2 upgrade completed over here for Open 2, and it looks like his opponent, Dead 6, has gone the other way. He's going for a gun upgrade, so we're going to have a little bit of a defensive versus offensive game brewing on the left-hand side of the map. What's happening over on the right? Do we have upgrades in place? Legend Law has also gone defensive, has a T2 upgrade installed. And what about Muffin Man, who of course is only an 800, going up against Legend Law, who's 1500. So this is going to be tricky for Team 2. And I imagine if they've set things up correctly, then perhaps, yeah. So Open 2, the other low-end Joe, going up against another 1500 in Dead 6 on that left-hand side. So it's going to be contingent on the corner teammates binding together in these 2 locations to overcome what could be a tough battle for Joes on the flanks. See, at the moment, you wouldn't know that that's necessarily the case. Muffin Man has stormed forward, and he did throw up at least 3 land factories, one of which he actually upgraded to T2, but doesn't look like it's going to last too long. Legend Law has got a little bit of a T2 point defense creep underway. He's also harassing the area with T1 bombers. Muffin Man not liking the look of that. He's just dropping back with his comm for the time being, although is he having second thoughts now? Potentially has brought in a T2 engineer of his own, not having direct access to tech on his comm, or T2 tech has to rely on inbound engineers to come and start that production for him. And he's going to get some defenses, but he's lost that forward T2 factory. And he's also losing, by the looks of things, the other T1s as well. Some mass to be scooped there, as you see hostile engineers from Legend Lore coming in to reclaim that. Now what's going on over in the left-hand side? We've got Nano Repair upgrade on Dead 6. He's already got stealth, he's already got gun, so it's going to be quite a tooled up little commander before too long. We've also got a gun upgrade on the way for Slick. That will be his second gun upgrade, so a bit of an Aeon sniper comm inbound potentially. And what about over here? Open 2 with a T2 upgrade. Zokiaz with a gun upgrade. And there is Furior in the area. He's also gone double gun. Seems to be generally the way of things for Aeon commanders. And as suspected, Furior was successful in brushing aside that solitary Cybran land factory. He's now conquered that for Team 2. So what was looking like it might be a Team 1 lockout on the plateaus has not materialized. It's one plateau apiece in the center. Eco-wise, where are we? Well, Team 2 still ahead. Excuse me. And ahead by about 60 mass per tick. And on terms of total mass, that's now almost a 30k differential, or about a 25k difference at the current time in terms of total mass accrued. And Reclaim is also now favoring Team 2. Advanced gun upgrade on the way for Slick. This is gun upgrade number 3. Zokiaz taking some time off. It's all been a bit much for him. Open 2 moving forward. I like the inclusion of some mobile missile launchers here, just testing some of these defenses. Managed to take out 2 mass extractors and a land factory. I'm not sure whether that was T1 or T2. Dead 6 trying to get some zappers in play, but hasn't managed to get enough of them up. Now he's lost the only one he had. He bring the commander forward to force these Vipers back and buy his forward base a little bit of breathing room. That has been a inspired choice by Open 2, who is of course Team 1's low order Joe, so he knows what he's doing. And these are proper Joes. This is global rankings, remember. There is no 6v6 ladder in FAF. So this is a fair representation on paper, I think, of people's general skill level. But this has been an inspired little choice here, these Vipers. Getting that early tech switch up, moving them in, and making use of them to destroy a forward outpost before Dead 6 can get tactical missile defense in place. Excuse the coughing. I'm not even ill, I don't think. What's going on? Sensed me casting the ether, the universe. Then I must disrupt somehow. But look at this, some T3 siege tanks, some Othams dropped in by Soogs, or Snoog, sorry, and crushing Team 1's forward outpost, potentially putting the second plateau in Team 2's hands. Zuros, in the meantime, advancing into the valley just to the east of that plateau. Some defenses, but not many. Zuros has T2 and enhanced sensor. That's the dramatic field of view increase it gives him. Possibly going for a bit of a point defense creep here. That's the second one in a line. First one's been pretty badly battered. Doesn't want to extend too far and find himself isolated. There's a hostile commander just over here to his right. Back up for him is Legend Lord 2 in his forward fire base, which is all shielded up and looking pretty cozy. Schlongdis starting stealth. Where is Schlong? Where is Schlong? That's what she said. Seriously, where? Oh, he's right there. Well, he is starting stealth. I mean, he hasn't completed it yet. Just practicing at the moment. Obviously very adept. Generated eco 769 to 709. Still an advantage for Team 2. As interesting as it is to hold the plateaus, though, there's no resources on these puppies now. Reclaim has been exhausted except for Rex left by combat. So it's a pure tactical or strategic significance. I think it's fair to say there's not really an easy way to get an eco advantage, because you have to make major gains in one portion of the map. The natural no man's land that you would expect to form across the middle doesn't have an awful lot of resources in it. It's going to perhaps come down to who can build up the best amalgam of resource infrastructure. Fiora taking some pummeling here from some Corsairs. He's been brought down to 3,600 HP. And a repair for Schlong at 25% complete. We have no air, says Smithers. Who is handling air for Team 1? I think that's part of the problem. No one is properly dedicated to it. Lovely little snatch and grab there by Zuros, preventing a hostile drop. Where would that have come from? To, it was a Seraphin, so it would have come from Snoog. And are we already working on experimentals? We're 17 minutes into this game, and there's an Ethota under construction in Snoog's base. I suppose these are reasonably significant totals, and I guess if you're the first one to get a big toy like that out onto the field, you could probably make some decent headway with it. Got a lot of Cybrins. Usually the first experimental we see out on the field is some sort of Monkey Lord, a Spider Bot. There are the other Cybrins. So yeah, there's one being worked on over on the left hand side by Dead 6. Seeing any materializing over in the east. Not at the current time. There is a little push underway though by Legend Law. Nice fire base though, covered by shields over here. Lydian turrets blapping away at those assault bots. We've also got some obsidians moving in to counter them, but they managed to take down the shield gen, so the defenses are exposed. There are a number of TMDs though, and you can see the Evensong mobile missile. Oh, sorry, they're not the Evensongs. Getting that all wrong. The unpronounceable Seraphim equivalent mobile missile launchers are trying to land some hits, but devastating Aeon TMD doing what it always does and just preventing any joy. A little push in on the ground from the west here. As Azorus turns up with a bunch of Harbs and Auroras, really does put some smackdown on paper. Look at that. All of the Oblivion turrets taken out. The shield gen that was being rebuilt, destroyed. Suddenly that forward fire base is looking very diminished indeed. But we do have some backup on the scene. A number of bricks turning up from Chancellor. So they're not leaving their Joe out to dry. They are supporting him. And a little bit further back we've got Shlongdis's comm as well. It's got nano repair, it's got gun, it's got stealth. Don't think this front line is going anywhere anytime soon. Perhaps this game isn't going anywhere anytime soon. 20 minutes in, no deaths. And front line, with the exception of the conquering of this plateau and this plateau by Team 2, really hasn't changed very much. Another feature of the map that the generator has provided for us today. Lovely little push though on the left hand side now by Dead 6, massacring some of these forces of Open 2. Who's trying to shadow this move, but he's shadowing it with a couple of loyalists and a bunch of T1. Problem is that this is mostly a brick party with a few rhinos thrown in there for good measure. Suddenly, it's not a completely open door, but it's certainly ajar. His forward base, or his forward base, oh, I'm talking nonsense, that's his forward base, that's his main base. Looking remarkably vulnerable right now. Could do with some air support. We've got some flak in here, but not a great deal. In comes a handful of Corsairs from Zokiaz, who has been focusing on air, I think, after being somewhat chastised, I suppose, by Smithers a moment ago, saying, why have we got no air? Although I don't know if that was expressly directed at him, but he is the person right at the back, so I guess if anyone should be handling air, it should be him. But look at that breakthrough into the main base. T3 land headquarters under threat. There's also a T2 HQ right by it, but down goes the T3. Oh, send the bricks in, son. Go on. You forgot the orders. You only sent in the T2. Hurts my feelings. There we go. Wow, that's a solid base wipe right there. Admittedly, there is a decent amount of infrastructure up front. Open 2, moving his comm now. But he is short stacking the field pretty hard on eco. He's the only one on double digits, down at 64 mass per tick. Is he power locked as well? No, he's got power to rely on. He's just out of mass points. A lot of defenses erected to the east of that main base. And sensing that firepower, those bricks move on to a different target, which is a wise decision, I think. However, there's a new defensive position back over here with tons of Cerberus turrets, which are just opening up on them now. They've wiped another mass point and mass storage slightly further to the south, just over here, and now they've reached this position. They need to get inside that shield gen, but they've got Spectres on them. They're taking a lot of point defense fire. They finally force a capitulation on the shield. They at least get the consolation prize of taking down the shield gen. Oh, he changed target right at the worst time. Should have stayed on it, but he got in range of the T3 mechs, and auto target prioritization being what it is, it's switched up probably without him even noticing. But now we're starting to see some experimentals show up. You can see we've already had one Monkey Lord death. That's probably Dead 6's. We saw producing it in his main base a little while ago. And now we've got a GC heading south, but I think that must have gone toe-to-toe with the Monkey Lord, because look at that, he's only got 34,400 HP left, and he might be about to go up against a spankingly fresh Ethota, the one we saw under construction from Snoog a while ago. GC is running for his life. Another experimental complete by Furio. It's a GC this time. Furio is also getting an upgrade. What is it? What is your upgrade? Who can say? Starting RAS. It's a RAS upgrade. Terribly uneventful and unexciting. GC. He didn't make it out. Wow, he didn't make it out. So the GC went down. And it looks like that little counter-attack from Team 1 has stalled out pretty hard. 25 minutes gone. There's now a 200 mass deficit between the teams in favor of Team 2, who are up about 100,000 mass in terms of total mass accrued. Open 2 has recovered a little bit after that attack in terms of eco. He's now back into triple digits at 102 mass per tick. But that left-hand side for Team 1 looking light on the ground and vulnerable. Unfortunately, there's not much on the ground for Team 2 down here, lying in wait for another attack up that left-hand side. Everything is much more concerned about this nasty group of Percivals. And so that's only a shielded group of flak, actually. Well, there might be some obsidian tanks in there, but nope. Oh, look at this! Azuros hightailing out of there and leaving his forward base to get brutalized by a brick wall, making its way in through the valley. Dear oh dear. Team 1 not looking particularly strong right now. Down on territory, down on eco, down on general unit count, kill loss ratio comfortably down. It's 1.68 to 0.66 in favor of Team 2. That is solid combat efficiency, and if Team 1 can't find a way to turn that around, this game is only going in one direction. And I like this. Look at the greed. The greed. Bricks moving up with engineer support to come and capitalize on some of this eco that's been deposited. But Azuros says, nope, we're not done yet. I was just buying some time for my GC to finish, and now he's going to come and hoover up some of those bricks. No reclaim for you. What's his comm going to do? Is he going to stay out of it? Or is he going to move back? He's going to be working on some more infrastructure, getting a radar up in this basin over here. Little T1 bomber attack. I think that was meant to be going after that Serenity mobile artillery, but coming off, still years later, we still have this height map problem of planes attacking from differing altitudes as they come off a plateau or a mountain and then overshooting their targets. I think that is just a limitation of the engine. Any devs watching, love to know if that's the case, if there is anything that can ever be done about that, if it's ever deemed that anything should be done about it. You never know. Sometimes it's felt that might affect balance in some unforeseen way. With these endless conversations that take place on forums and the like, where people debate these things. Duo of Ithotas there, both pretty healthy as well, marching forward towards the north. There is this GC, but he's probably going to want to turn around and guard this area. Fatty coming in from the east. The Ithotas will have some shielding, although they're not particularly high peaks, and maybe just enough. They're turning around anyway. Snoog sending lots of mass to Muffin Man. What's Muffin Man building? Building himself a GC. There we go. And he's yielded a bit of territory, brought his comm back to his main base. Legend Law and Azuros go after some of these forward emplacements belonging to Chancellor. A couple of Gunthers. That's the view from Team 1. Again, apart from the two plateaus, territory is pretty 50-50. A lot of redundant mass points up here and a lot of redundant ones down here. But Team 2 being more efficient with what they've got. They're up 400 mass per tick now and are almost 200,000 mass up overall in terms of totals. Game continues to move only in one direction. And I love the Soothsayer location on top of the plateau. We saw Team 1's vision a moment ago, and that is Team 2's. Just look. And they must have another one over here, maybe. Yep. Fantastic field of view they've got on the center of the map now. Can't put a price on that. Experimental bomber in from Snoog. Dishes out some death on those inbound forces. The experimentals from Team 1. Azuros still has his GC, manages to defeat Muffin Man's GC, but I think the bricks are probably going to finish it off, although they're taking fire from that Ion Storm still. Wow, is the GC going to win this? Massive Storm T1 bombers in over the top. It's still alive. How is it still alive? 6,000 hit points left. There are lightning tanks in here trying to combat these T1 bombers. Oh, what was that? Shell from the megalith. The Chancellor just completed, and finally that threat is dealt with. Experimental bomber going after a fat boy up here. Has he gone too wide? He has. He hits the shield of the other one though. Some 34,000 hit points left on that experimental bomber. Taken a bit of damage, but Snoog doing a good job of keeping it reasonably safe. Are we still lacking a serious air threat from Team 1? Is that what we're saying? Got air superiority fighters in the top left-hand corner for Zokiaz. He's got 56 of them at the moment. Got two groups of fighters from Team 2, one from Schlongdis and one from Dead 6. And look at this little attack up the left-hand side. There's a Monkey Lord in the area, but it's not going to fare too well in a face-off against the Megalith. Open 2's in the area with his commander as well. Needs to be careful here. But look at the defenses going up. There's a ton of T2 PDs. He could just march around all that. Maybe. He will be shadowed by this Monkey Lord. If he can get back here, he can cause some real damage. That's what I'd be going for. Avoiding this if possible. If you can find a way to deal with that Monkey Lord, that would be ideal. Experimental bomber, 88 kills, 31,000 hit points. Now is he going to have a run at this Monkey Lord? He doesn't need to. Megalith has taken care of it. Start dismantling all of these freshly constructed Cerberus turrets with that Megalith if he wants to. Doesn't need to expose his bricks to this damage, that's for sure. Hello, rear base for Zokiaz, unshielding, bombs away. Oh, and he's standing right next to a P-Gen, but it's gone along anyway. Delayed explosion. But it's enough to take out that main base and then get shot down. Causes trouble, but ow, that will have really hurt. I think that's a decent trade. Smithers starting to amass fat boys here, and he's got himself a Novax, and he started work on a second Novax. So this is interesting here. If he starts to accumulate more fat boys, he's using them at the moment to bombard this left-hand side base, which has a combination of tactical launchers and artillery emplacements. But with this many fat boys, this is going to be impossible to hold on to. They're going to lose that. They could clear out this whole area, and if he just goes mass Novax, this could be a bit of a game changer. First one currently heading over to the unshielded base in the bottom left-hand corner for Dead 6. And locks straight onto an ion reactor. One volley taking it to about 30% health. Out on the ball is Dead 6. Is he going to be ready to reclaim this with his engineers so it doesn't explode when it hits 0? Nope. Attention was elsewhere. And there's the chain reaction. So a bit of a tit for tat here on this left-hand side. Zokiaz loses his power grid, and a few minutes later, Dead 6 gets Novaxed. Megalith, we saw a moment ago, trudged its way all the way through here and finally gets taken care of by some restorers from Slick. So multiple players now from Team 1 starting to dip their toe into the air game. We've got a Tsar under construction over here, so we really are moving into late game mode here, where the bigger toys come out to play, which is always fun. That's why you guys are here. That's why you're still watching after 35 minutes. This is what you're all about. So much artillery as these Ithotas come after the fat boys. You do lose one of the fat boys. There are still 3 operational ones. The left-hand base on that central plateau has been scrubbed along with all of the artillery and TAC missile launchers. Probably going to lose the right-hand side as well. But they're not giving up on it. Look at that. Furior wasting no time in dropping off support commanders, which are going to be able to rebuild infrastructure here even quicker. Second Soothsayer down. Oh, that's such a loss. Remember how lovely it was for Team 2 being able to see all of this. Now nothing. Nothing. Attack missile launchers being erected on the southern side of that left-hand plateau. A little trio of Colossus over here. I feel like this has been some fight back here from Team 1, and would you look at the kill-loss ratio now? It's inverted. It's now 1.1 to 0.66 in favor of Team 1. So we've had some great fight back here from Team 1. Momentum starting to swing in their favor. Eco-wise, they are still massively behind. It's now 2.5k to 1.8k in favor of Team 2. It's not quite 500,000 total mass advantage for Team 2, but it's closing in on it. And if they carry up with this level of combat efficiency, it will all mean very little. How is the Novax satellite getting on? Well, it's scrubbed everything over here. It's now causing problems for all the remaining unshielded areas in Dead 6's base. Lovely experimental bombing run right into the heart of these forces of Smithers. Here comes another one. Fat Boy's in danger, along with all of the surrounding Percivals. A lot of unshielded ones in here, and our first nuke out of the day. Where is it coming from and where is it going to? My eyes are no longer working. There it is. Where is that coming from? In here somewhere? There it is. That's the launcher. There's the nuke. Do we have strategic missile defense? At 37 minutes, we ruddy well ought to, but it's not going too deep. It's going straight after the ground forces over here in the east. That's a massive, massive casualty rate. So many bricks just bit the dust, or the clay, as it would be more accurately described. 85 kills with that first nuke. Thing of beauty right there. That will ease the pressure over in the east somewhat, potentially opening the door for this attack. However, there's still an experimental bomber to be concerned about. Forces are shielded, will afford them some protection. And there are lightning tanks in the ranks of those forces, so that arse washer down to just below 50% health after that bombing run. Can't afford too many of those. Goodness me. And we're still basically we've had some great attacks here. Some good Novax satellite attacks down at the backfield. But we're still broadly at 50-50 share in terms of map control. Shondis CPU rip. So I guess he's slowing the game down for everybody. Which is never ideal, but you're always going to get someone, I guess, when you play these larger games. Harder and harder to avoid the more people that are involved. A couple of attack missiles being bounced back by the loyalists. A little bit quiet except for this right hand side, but they have been dissuaded by the presence of these three experimentals. What have we got building here? We've got another nuke launcher here for Chancellor. 40 minutes. We've got to have some artillery brewing. Artillery usually kind of comparable to the Novax satellites. People start thinking about them at the same sort of time. They are getting work done. I'd love to see how many kills they've amassed so far. Can you see on them? Gosh, we can't actually see. Put them on the satellites themselves. 14 kills for one of them, and 4 to the other, and 1 for the third. So there are 3 out in play. Now, it doesn't sound a lot, but when it's 16 power plants and air factories, that is quite the dent in your capabilities and your eco. I didn't even have the brewings of a cold before I started casting. What on earth's going on? There are allergies in my allergens in my microphone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fatties rolling down the center. Threatening some land factories in the middle belonging to Snoog, but I don't think he'll fight too hard for that position. Be much more concerned about everything further south. These forces come too much closer, they will have a nuke to call on. Look at that! I was just about to say. Is it going for them, though? That would be the obvious target.
Launch detected.
Look at that. Double nuke. Hold them in place with some experimentals long enough for the nukes to come and clean house. Boom, baby! Oh my god, that's a thing of beauty. 1 fat boy remaining. So decent. Yeah. That is one way of putting it. Another nuke about to land. Will that take care of the remaining fat boy? Not quite. Just outside the blast radius, but something else is hitting it. Something else is doing it dirty under the cover of nuclear fire. It must have been that Ithota. And would you look at this? A renewed assault up the left-hand side. Just when it started to go well for Team 1. Seesaw tilts in the other direction, but I think this is a mistake here again. Yeah, there are some mass points, but all you're really doing here, you're taking out a couple of mass points, but you're going up against tons of defenses when what you could be doing is circling around here and smashing all of this infrastructure up at the top of the map. Just a thought. But he can't hear me, so it's no use.
Strategic launch detected.
What's going on up here? Hello! That's not an Ithota, it's a Yolona-os under construction and almost half cooked. Coming up to 5,900 hit points out of 12,000. The game enders are here, ladies and gentlemen, and that will have an impact on the game if it's allowed to remain. Another nuke lands, and presumably dishes out serious pain to some ground formations. Are hovering above some of these megaliths. And then moving on out. Just so those fighters belonging to Schlongdis don't get a target on that donut. Wise decision. And these Novax satellites of Smithers are starting to become a problem now. Absolutely anything that is exposed outside shield coverage is unsafe, and even stuff under shielding with that many satellites will only be safe temporarily. But it doesn't look like they're working on any major projects. They have got some artillery under construction. An emissary here, T3 static, nearly completed. Probably wants to get a bit more shielding up on that. Is that the first artillery piece? Oh, and a Scathis underway down here for Dead 6 in the bottom left-hand corner. So game enders galore are on the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Novax satellites in play now for Smithers. Of course, the one problem is that this is quite far forward. Something like that, you'd love to have them under heavy shielding or something right up at the back. This is troubling that they're on the front line.
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke out from the bottom right-hand corner. Little pot shot by another Awasar. That nuke go? There it is, it's going after this inbound force. Has it gone a little long? Or is it just about perfect? It's a little long. Gonna take out a ton of halves back here though. Still the 3 experimentals to worry about, but the attacking force will have been blunted somewhat. Lovely placed bomb right onto those incoming experimentals. Once again, no real breakthrough. Oh, down goes another Soothsayer. Got a big collateral damage from this wave of strap bombers inbound from Furior. Furious battle between the experimentals. But Team 2 will hold the field, and once again, no real forward momentum. It does look like we're getting a bit of forward progress over in the west. The amount of infrastructure creeping forward from Dead 6 and from Furior might be about to be reversed by this next attack. We'll see. Certainly we're about to lose one of these Colossus. But still leaves 4. Are they going to continue to push? Seeing their comrade get obliterated. It's apparently too much for them, so they're going to turn tail and wander away. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Look at this. Laser upgrade. If we are seeing the makings of an upset Cybran who needs to go all suicidal and take someone down with him, possibly. Team 1 have been struggling on eco all game to catch up, but I don't think they've been ahead all game at any point. Still 500 mass per tick behind their opponents. And they are about
Strategic launch detected.
700,000 mass behind. Something like that. Another nuke out, and it's the first nuke from the completed Yolona Os up in the top right hand corner. Will this be allowed to connect? Have Team 2 even spotted it? Do they even know it's there? They have no clue. They haven't done a scouting run up here in a long time. So this is going to be a nasty shock. Watch chat to see their reactions. This will tear asunder, assuming it doesn't get shot down. Oh man, that's going to connect, and that's going to take out everything in Chancellor's main base. Bam!
Strategic launch detected.
YOLO. Poppity, 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 poppity.
Strategic launch detected.
Massive hole torn in Team 2's infrastructure. Little basic counter nuke fired in response, but the second nuke is already away, and Team 2, with a matter of urgency, must take this out now. This is priority target number 1. It cannot be allowed to remain. Looks like they might be going after this aforementioned infrastructure, which is creeping forwards over on this western flank. No? Oh yeah, it is. I thought it dropped short. I was like, why is he nuking himself? No, that was the nuke we saw a moment ago coming out from the bottom right hand corner. It's like, what's gone wrong? Guidance failure. And that will connect. Megaliths probably will weather this, I should think.
Strategic launch detected.
Yeah, with ease. Look at that. Barely touches the armoured hull. Target remains. YOLO nuke number 3 en route. Target bottom right hand corner somewhere. Maybe it's all of these units once again. Or is it going to sail deeper? Might be sailing deeper. Takes one anti-nuke. Oh, gets shot down a few hundred feet before detonation. So we've got lots of anti-nukes under construction now in response to the Yolona. Well, I'll land one in here, I'd
Strategic
imagine.
launch detected.
Trying to keep up with that rate of fire is something else, though. Legend Law wants to stay now in this bottom right-hand corner to make sure it remains depleted. He looks like he's scatter-firing a little bit. Nuke number 2 out from Legend Law in this volley from a regular silo. Where's that headed? 49 minutes into this game, we still don't have a single player out. It is a full 6v6 game still. I won't say it's unheard of, but it's certainly rare. Scathis is complete. Has already fired its first couple of volleys, unsurprisingly, in the direction of the Yolona Os. Which one was it? I think that Yolona Os nuke got shot down. That's the regular one Legend Law fired shortly after. Air battle underway over on the right-hand side. And I think that looks like it's going Snoog's way. Some fighter bombers trying to make their way over to the right hand side. If they've got enough shielding to keep us protected from the Scathis, I'm not convinced they do. Strat bombers moving up to this area of the map now, but Team 2 have won the air battle, so air coverage is blown for Team 1. They cannot keep the Yolana Os safe. Strat bombers lining up for a shot on it. I think they've probably got a clean route through. And there are enough anti-nukes in these freshly built silos to deal with that next one. This could be the end of the Yolana Os. Oh, wow. Not going straight after the Yolana Os, but rather targeting the main base just over here. Yolana Os still operational. And not just the Scathis to worry about, there's still that emissary in this bottom left-hand corner. Is it just one emissary? No, we've got multiple emissaries. 1, 2, and a third one under construction, although recently only just started, so not going to be complete anytime soon.
Strategic launch detected.
Oh man, another Yolana Os nuke out. Another volley of Scathis fire, and the Yolana Os taking some fire now, down to about 60% health. Shields ping back in. Oh my goodness, we've got a teleporting support commander. How naughty. How very, very naughty. Shields are gone. Engineers working on T1 PDs desperately. But the health on the Yolana Os is ticking away, and I think this is going to work out just fine. And a nuke to finish it off anyway. I wonder actually if the first thing the support commander did was take out the anti-nuke, allowing that missile to sneak through, and now their biggest weapon and their biggest chance of success is down and out. And not only that, whilst we've been focusing on all of that carnage, Smithers has taken a direct hit with a nuke. He's lost all of his Novax satellites, weapons that were getting real work done over in the backfield. Oh, and look out! Zokiaz with the tele-snipe down in the bottom right hand corner. He kills off Muffin Man, but I think gets himself killed in turn. But what good is that? That's an 800. Their bottom rated player traded for an 1100. Their situation has not really improved. At 52 minutes, 52 and a half minutes, this is now going to be hard to come back from. What have we got here? We've got a Mavor under construction. Another chance to alter the path of this game with another game ender. But Team 2 still have theirs. Great combination, the Scathis with a few more direct punching regular T3 artillery pieces. Perfect combination weapons to obliterate bases. Mass softening up effect of the Scathis, and the more direct punching power of the regular T3s. Oh, so many civilian casualties. Yeah, so our first two players out in about 52 minutes, around then, 52-15 maybe. Very late in the game, and it was a smelly old Cybran tele-snipe that did it. It really hasn't helped Team 1 in the slightest. He must have felt that he was the most vulnerable. It really hasn't done him any favours. Managed to get a couple of GCs all the way down here. Zuros trying to scrub this base in the bottom right hand corner. He's taking out a few power plants and the like. That's what he's focusing in on. Take out the anti-nuke someone's pinging. He stomps his way over those defenses. Where's he going? Kill the anti-nuke. Someone has a nuke ready to go. there it goes. So when it doesn't finish off here, somebody else could get done with a nuke. That bottom right-hand corner has been pretty heavily softened up now. And would you look at the army massing over on the left-hand side and this colossal wave of restorer spam for Slick. A lot of these units on the ground are shield gens and engineers and the like. As we've seen throughout this game, it's been nigh on impossible to really get large armies into a position to dish out damage because they're just getting nuked every time they get anywhere close to their target. Why is it always the game right before bed that are like this? It's because sleep is for losers. It's actually not. Make sure you get lots of sleep, guys. Not sleeping has almost ruined my life. It's not a great thing. So make sure you are getting all the sleep you can, even when you're young, because those problems compound as you get older, believe me. Scathis still very much. Look, that's outrageous shielding. That is outrageous shielding. No wonder that thing's still operational, although I'm not sure it's drawn much in the way of attention at all, really. Where is it headed? Oh, a Paragon under construction. That is ostentatious. How are we doing on that Mavor? The Penis of Doom is complete and unfurling. It's seen something that's piqued its interest and is now going to fire. It's probably going to go after the Scathis. At least I would. Looks like it's got wood too. LOL. Right. Certainly angling up in that direction. There we go. First round heading off towards the bottom left-hand corner in conjunction with this large attack that's brewing. I feel like I just want to zoom in and keep an eye on that neighbor on the mini-map as best we can. We need to keep an eye also, though. This is predominantly where the action looks like it's brewing. Is he going for... He must be going for the Scathis with the... No, he's not. What's he going for? He's going after the emissaries. I suppose they are the direct threat. So he's going to take out a few of those. I guess the old Maypole, when it was just spot-on, crisp firing, absolute precision. It probably was a little bit overpowered. Look at this! Dead Six with the cloak out front, balls out. You cannot see me. I am invisible, and I've got a massive laser going toe-to-toe, irradiating everything. Monkey Lord down. Get ground firing, guys. It's your one hope. Oh, I think they've wiped the Mavor, unless I move my mini-map. Yeah, Mavor did not last long. Scathis and the emissaries took care of it. And in the process, they only lost one emissary and a bunch of power plants. And now we've got a nuke out, and it's going after the inbound forces of Slick. And if he doesn't move his restorers, he's going to lose all of those too. Here's the nuke. It's not far away. They are on the move, but they're not moving far enough. That's a perfectly placed nuke. Oh no! They're moving back into it. I think it even got hit by the missile on the way in, but the missile didn't trigger. The missile took out a restorer on its way in and then detonated under the pack and took out the lot. Slick cannot believe it. The explosives and Legend Lore has seen enough. He's handed everything over. He's like, my God, I can't deal with this. I'm done. He is bowing out. The control Ks are... To be honest, I don't blame him. I think this game is done. They've lost their one shot, and it wasn't that big a shot, to be honest. They were never in a position to do much. Look at the infrastructure, the shielding, the defenses. Well, actually, the defenses aren't that heavy, but They weren't going to do much with the restorers. There was too much anti-aircraft firepower in here. We've got SAMs galore. We've got flak. We've got tons of ASFs. And the ground force had basically been all but defeated. And now, what chance do they have? None. Mavor down. Yolona Os gone. That Paragon, wherever it was, didn't last very long. Don't think it really had much of a commitment behind it. I will go out on a limb and say that is probably that. Why carry on? I agree. And there are the control Ks. Suicides going out all round. Open left all by his lonesome. Schlongdis, hello Guile. Hello Schlongdis, lovely to meet you. Well played, sir. Well played, everybody on Team 2. It was interesting because it felt close in terms of map control, but Team 2 were ahead on eco the entire game. Like, they're up 1k in generative eco. It was 3k to 2k there at the end. Total mass accrued 7.25 million. Actually, that's not as big a gap as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's still pretty sizable, but it's not even 500,000. I think they've actually closed the gap just a little bit. Probably down, a lot of that's down to Reclaim that was recycled and the like. Let me see, a Team 1 up on Reclaim. Yeah, they are. So 763k versus 692k. So that was probably how they managed to stay in that sort of range. But yeah, well played, Team 2. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Don't forget, if you want to support me, the best way you can do that is to check out the Patreon. We've got, I don't know, 111, 12, something in that ballpark casts, premium content casts that are ad-free for your viewing pleasure. It's mere $1 a month, so do check that out. Links in the description. But until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.